Everybody's going on about Dr. Cheyenne Bryant not being a real doctor, but been supporting Dr. Dre for the past 40 years. Somebody make that make sense.
6 separate degrees, 3 doctorates, 0 proof. There is a video on Club Shay Shay where Dr. Cheyenne Bryant explicitly states that she has 6 separate degrees.
I ran into 6 degrees, 3 doctorates, a master's degree.
And out of those 6 separate degrees, 3 of those are doctorates.
I ran into 6 degrees, 3 doctorates, a master's degree, a house.
She has been a doctoral candidate 3 separate times. And 3 separate times she is unable to find the transcripts proving that she completed said degree. You're telling me this woman has the intellect to sit down and obtain 6 separate degrees, but does not have the intellect to follow through to show proof of her credentials that she's loudly stating on various platforms. 6 separate degrees, 3 doctorates, 0 proof. Make that shit make sense, because 2 + 2 = 4, and she got 7. That don't add up.
If Rachel Dolezal can get away with being the head of the NAACP without even being black, maybe y'all need to cut this woman some slack.
Let me tell you porch monkeys something. You darkies, you jigaboos, you'll never understand, because as a psychology expert with licensure, but I don't have the licensure because you only need that to diagnose, and I went to the university, and then I was applying to be a professor at the law school as a PhD holder, my doctoral. Now, as I was getting my doctoral, I came back around. I didn't have the transcripts, but the dissertation, and then at that time I said therapy. And see, what you don't understand is you don't have to have licensure as a therapist for diagnoses, because I'm a life coach. And as a psychology expert, what some people are never going to understand about me is when I came back to do that doctoral, and the doctoral of it all, and the summation at the end of the day, jigaboos ain't gonna never understand.
I was like, okay, I'm confused. I Google. It says this school has been shut down.
Stop lying!
I said, oh, well, they got to have records. I mean, they were accredited when I attended the school. They were accredited when I finished the program. I go and look, there is a third party that has the records. Why I contact the third party? That third party only holds records for 2 years.
Who cares if Cheyenne Bryant is lying about getting a PhD? It's just a PhD. Anybody can get a PhD. You're not all of that because you have a PhD. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Like, I just don't get it because you didn't get that far. That's why you don't get it. Because you didn't get that far. You see, I'm not coming from the standpoint of, oh, I'm so elitist, I'm better than you, because I hold multiple degrees. I'm working on my 4th degree, which is a master's of physics, because it is. And I'm also not a therapist, so I won't be able to tell you all the doors that will be able to open for you once you get your PhD. But what I do know is that we already live in a world where people assume that we are not qualified enough to be in the room. They're already assuming that you're just the LGBTQIA plus hire. You're just the Black American hire. You're just the African hire. You're just the Arab Muslim hire. You're just the Jewish hire. You're just the Indian Pakistani hire. You're just the Chinese, Japanese, Korean, Vietnamese hire. You're just the Mexican hire. That's all you will ever be. They needed that person with the personality. Oh, they just needed a pretty woman. Oh, that's it. They just needed their diversity quota to be met. And then on top of that, you ain't got to lie about getting a PhD, because, baby, not being ready for a PhD or just not having it yet is totally understandable for those of us that already hold degrees. I totally understand why the average human being does not have a PhD. Because, girl, a PhD of physics? Like, girl, it's okay for you to just kick it with us, the kings and queens of master's degrees. But another big reason as to why it's such a big freaking deal is because a lot of non-degree holders assume that those of us that hold degrees, or you may hold a degree, praise the Lord, hallelujah, salvation, glory, hold my hand, welcome to the congregation, no judgment here. A lot of people assume that those of us that hold degrees come from a privileged background. Baby, them degrees come with sacrifice. Those degrees, baby, they hold sweat. They hold tears.
The last I heard, if you want something in life, you have to claim it. She wanted to be a doctor, so she claimed it. That's between her and God.
My obedience is to God, not to people. And so as long as I'm in his will and I'm serving and I'm doing his, his word, my sheep will know my voice. Even the sheep in wolf clothing. That is not my battle.
But with the questions that are out there, why not provide the proof of your degree? Why not?
Well, a couple of things, right? I have multiple degrees, and my thing is that my proof isn't something that I have to prove to individuals. My proof is already within my credentials, my degrees, and also more than just my titles, it's in how effective I've been. So I've been in private practice as a doctor of psychology for 17 years.
When somebody say Dr. Bryant, it irks me. Where's she a doctor at?
Conversation about your doctorate because people can't find your dissertation online.
There's just no holding take for any of our records.
Because I've done the research. I don't see doctor nowhere.
Just a
They
zero.
are going to do you online this week. They're going to say she has no records.
I don't need a doctorate in counseling psychology. All of my sessions have been live for the most part. My sessions with Nick Cannon, Cam Newton, Shannon Sharp, B. Simone, they have all been for the world to see, right? So no one knew who Dr. Bryant was prior to seeing all of my sessions that were live. And they deemed it, as well as I did before they did it, they can't validate me, I validated myself, they deemed it as my work being effective. I am effective at what I do. I'm educated and I'm successful in my lane, and I'll land on this. I created my own lane. And so a lot of times, Marissa, when people say that you created something that maybe they couldn't, admiration turns into envy. And you got to be okay. And you got to be okay with that in that
as an
space.
attack, but I think, and I've gotten this question from many viewers, and I owe it to them in service to
Absolutely.
them. Why not drop doctor from your name if you cannot bring forth that doctoral degree?
So I've already covered this, right? And we're here obviously to talk about my new book. So I've earned the title. I have multiple degrees, and I'm not going to prove anything to anybody. And we're going to leave it just as that. Yeah.
Dr. Cheyenne Bryant.
Baby, Dr. Cheyenne Bryant.
And that's where, and you're standing by that.
Standing by it. Yeah, because I earned it. Absolutely.
Does Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, Cheyenne Bryant, have a PhD? That's not for me to determine, but what I will say is that I have a PhD, and here are some relatively easy ways that I can prove it. Here's a picture of me at my graduation in my regalia with my advisor. Here is my degree. I don't have a frame for it yet. It's still rolled up, but I assure you it exists. Here is my dissertation. You could find it online if you wanted to. You know what else you could find online? Several peer-reviewed research publications written by me and other people who went to the same university as me. Of course, I could also pull my official or my unofficial transcripts, but Cheyenne Bryant says that she doesn't have access to hers, so I'll leave that one out. My dissertation defense was recorded and is available online. While I was in my program, because I was a content creator at the time, you can see videos where I am physically on campus working on my PhD. I have my regalia too, but that's in the storage unit. I'm not gonna go get that too.
At the end of the day, this woman is an entertainer. There's been a lot of rappers coming through the black community claiming to be something that they're not. But y'all willingly give them a pass, but want to give this woman hell.
A woman claiming that she has her doctorate, but can't find her transcripts, dissertation is nowhere to be found, and conveniently, the school that she attended shut down. Girl, as somebody who actually has their PhD from a Research One institution that was fully paid for by the time that I was 27 years old, I graduated with my PhD, and baby, when you look me up in them records, you gonna find me. And if you want to find my dissertation, you probably could, because it's uploaded to the libraries of the university. That's still open. But I'll say this, 4.4% of graduates that have their doctoral degree in the United States of America are black women. 4.4%. And that is inclusive of people that have their professional doctoral degrees and their PhDs, which she probably doesn't even know the difference between. But my point is, as somebody that got a PhD, I know what goes into it. I know what goes into it. And every single person around me saw what I went through to get that degree. So when you tell me you don't know where your dissertation is, you can't find them transcripts, let me tell you, I have them transcripts, hold on. Stop playing with me. And I think she took advantage of the fact that she knows the black community does not have a lot of representation when it comes to doctoral degrees. So they're not going to know the ins and outs of what go into it. But let me tell you, honey, there is a big group of us, 4.4% of us black women that do have doctorate degrees. And it's, I feel, my responsibility to share with the people what actually goes into this. Because if you really did your dissertation and got your doctoral degree, it didn't matter if that university conveniently closed and they couldn't find your transcripts. You would know that you know your dissertation like the back of your hand, because you're not even taking classes when you are
writing your dissertation. The classwork, the coursework is it's done. You're completed it. You spend months, maybe even years writing a dissertation. So if you can't find your dissertation, which is weird because again, I have mine saved on 3 thumb drives, you could have at least told us what your dissertation was about, okay?
I've never heard so many people saying licenses and degrees didn't matter until more Black people started getting licenses and degrees. And I also want to address that it took me some time to think about doing this video because as a Black woman, it's just been really, really tough for us as Black women. But I do want you to know that I always state that my Black love is also accountability. And being Black does not mean that when I'm dealing with other Black people, I'm pro-Blackness no matter what you do. So I don't want you to, I don't want to hear anything about like, oh, this is an attack on a Black woman. It's not solely, it was the aspect of supporting Black people was never about supporting just Black people no matter what they do. It's supporting Black people in love and also having accountability. And these messages are wrong and they have been wrong and they have consistently been wrong. And and as someone who has the size of a platform that I have, I think it's important for me to share psychoeducation and information because I understand the significance of it. And I understand the significance of it because I'm actually working in this field. This is a really harmful message. And I do understand that there's this aspect of like things are entertainment, but these things are harming us. And I know they harm us because I'm actually working in the field. And I think one of the reasons why a lot of individuals will say it's not that deep or state that it's just entertainment is because one, you think mental health in psychology is just folk wisdom and it's not, it's a science. And two, you guys are very insulated from the field that you claim to be discussing because you don't work in that field and you haven't in quite some time. But as someone who walks into the offices and sees the clients and goes to the talks and does the community programs, we are struggling. And in these little entertainment only pieces that are spreading misinformation, you're doing more harm for the Black community than you know. And the only way you would know that is if you did the work that I do. And you're never going to because one, you're not qualified. And two, it would break you down. It will break you down every single day. I've never heard so many people saying licenses and degrees didn't matter until more Black people started getting licenses and degrees.
Now it's looking like we're going to need for everybody in the entertainment business to show us who they say they are. We're going to have to find Denzel and make him prove that he's a dirty cop. We're going to have to find all the rappers from the past, all the 90s rappers, and make them prove their criminal past, or else they're going to have to give us refunds for their cassettes and their CDs. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this in the comment section. And one more thing before I go.
Subscribe to my channel if that's what you want, but if that's not what you like, then you must be a punk. Hold on now, here we go. Who is this girl? She got that junk in her trunk. Baby girl, back it up, poke out your rump. It's S.A.T that you want.